Alright, what's up? What's going on, guys? CaptainMonk here, and welcome to my second video for my 150k special. Originally, I had planned to do one big video where I had the 1v1 with ankle spanking, which I'm sure most of you have already seen, and then this video, which would be the Q&A over this gameplay, but unfortunately, with some delays and things not quite getting done, the quite time frame and all that stuff, and frankly, I realized that also, to add on to that, the video would have been freaking huge, having all those things all in one video, considering there's like a giveaway in the other one as well, so it would have been a giant shitfest of a video. So I decided to put it into two videos, but I wanted to do this all for you guys because we did hit 150k, so once again, I want to thank you guys for that, but I'm not going to spend too much time talking about that because I did a lot in the last video. In this video, there's a few things I want to mention. First of all, this will be a Q&A, and as you guys might be able to tell just from the way this video has already been run, this is not a live commentary either. This is a post-game commentary, so I'm going to sit here for the next 40 or so minutes talking to a microphone, which normally is a little awkward, but now that I'm not playing the game as well, it's even more awkward, but we'll see how this turns out. I also want to mention a few things before we get into the actual Q&A, because I have a lot of questions from you guys on the Facebook and Twitter pages. Actually, I probably should mention as well, actually, a Twitter page. I had one question, and it was a question that was already asked on the Facebook page, so all of the questions you'll see on screen were just pictures taken from the Facebook page. But yeah, before I get into those, though, I do want to mention the teams. We've got iGank No Problem playing Janna, support it looks like, Quadradair playing Lucian 80 carry. I think we have Acromorph playing Jax in the top lane, and then Lava D-Man playing Azir mid, and of course myself, yours truly, playing as Sejuani in the jungle. On their team, I cannot remember their team, but I guess I'll see it throughout the game, and I haven't pushed tab anytime recently in the gameplay, so I can't actually look at that to refer to, so I guess the last thing before I get into the questions is, recently I uploaded a Pokemon game, so if you guys want to see it, part 8, it's a bit of a longer episode as well, make sure to click the link in the description below. I would really like to recommend to you guys, because I am working really hard on this Pokemon channel, I really want it to work out, that even if you're not interested in Pokemon, please give the videos a chance, and if you don't like them, I understand, but if you give them a chance, it would really make my day, because I've been putting a lot of work into that, and I would love to run two channels simultaneously that are both more or less successful. The Pokemon channel is approaching 3k, so if we get that to 3k subs, that'd be crazy. But without any further ado, let's get right on into the questions. So what I've done here is I've taken a bunch of photos of all these different questions. So I'll just go through the folder of photos, and we'll see how many we get done in the 40 minutes we have here. I probably won't get through them all because I have about 56 unique questions that I have photos of. There were some other questions. There's definitely more than just 56, but a lot of them were repeats of other questions or just differently worded. So these are all unique questions. So let's get on into it. So the first question comes from Nikos Vul, or I guess that's how you pronounce it. What actually made you start your YouTube channel? Were you inspired by someone else? Now, there's definitely different ways of reading this question because this is not my only channel I've done in the past. I've done several different channels beforehand. So I guess what I will explain is the reason I started doing YouTube and who inspired me to do that. And the person for that was Blame Truth. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him because he's from a completely different community than the League community. He hasn't played League at all. In fact, apparently, from what I've seen from his stream, he actually mentioned this because someone donated and they asked this question and he answered it, but he played League and he didn't like it, so it's a bit of a shame. But right now he's a Pokemon guy, but he used to do a lot of Call of Duty, and that's kind of how I started watching him. Was way back when. Like, he started doing videos in like 2008, right? And we're in 2015 now, so way back when. And I was watching him in 2008, a bit of 2009 as well, 2010. I've been watching him pretty much ever since, but I'm trying to figure out exactly when I started watching him, and I'd probably say it was like 2008, 2009. So way back when, right? And yeah, he was like the first guy to really bring out live gameplay commentaries of Call of Duty, but he gravitated away from that and started doing post-game commentaries so he can explain what he was thinking and stuff like that, because I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but when you are commentating live and you're trying to play League, or if you're trying to play any game, being able to organize your thoughts into two different categories, things you talk about and things you think about in the game, and then having that extra category, what's in between, where you kind of mention a bit of both, it gets kind of messy, if you guys get the point here. So he was the first guy I started watching doing Call of Duty commentaries, and he was really good at them, and I kind of designed myself and kind of figured out how to kind of be like that. He's kind of like, I wouldn't say my idol, but for a while he was. Nowadays, I mean, he's just someone I used to watch, and I still enjoy watching his videos, but I don't idolize him nearly as much, and I'll get into who actually I idolize now, more or less, a bit later. But that's pretty much why I started my channel back, I want to say, I don't remember even what year it was, probably 2011, when I started my first YouTube channel, and that was Call of Duty videos. And yeah, that was pretty much why I started doing those YouTube videos, was because of Blame Truth's inspiration on me. And then for League, I didn't start doing League until 2013, maybe 2012. I can't even remember. I'd have to go back and look at the videos, which frankly would take too long. But what I can tell you is the inspiration for League videos was completely ankle spanking, without a doubt, because at the time, Cool Story Joe and Sebastian, ZZ Legendary were only just getting started, and Ankle, at this point, already been going for a few months, if not a year, and so I could go back and I could watch all of his games and learn how to play all these different champions, and at the time, he was pretty good at the game compared to, how I was, so I could learn all these different things about all these different champions, so for my League videos, I definitely designed my strategy and my sort of videos around what he was doing in a different way, but still similar. And I mean, that's pretty obvious for you guys because a lot of you watch him and me for a similar sort of style, because that's pretty much what I end up doing. So yeah, I went a little bit in depth with that question, so I'll try and get through the other ones, not going too in depth, but that kind of gives you an idea of where I've been and stuff. Andrew Heighton, not sure how to pronounce that. Do you think that League will ever get boring for you? I do think at some point League of Legends designers and whoever that is behind the Riot team are gonna run out of ideas, and that's when I'm gonna get bored of the game. But as the time is right now, I mean, the League of Legends is such a diverse game. There's so many characters in the game, so many different strategies and metas and stuff, and it's very tough to get bored of this game unless they stop bringing new stuff in. If they stop bringing new stuff in, I'm probably gonna get bored of it. But even like on this patch here, 4.21, I mean, it's been out for a while, and I'm still learning new stuff about it every day. So there's still lots to learn. And I don't think it's gonna get boring for me per se, but there will probably come a time when they run out of ideas and don't really know how to change stuff up to the point where I'm just gonna know pretty much everything about the game. And I'll know how every matchup works, how every lane works, how every champion works, all that shit, right? And when that gets to that point, maybe I'll get a little bit bored, but at least it won't be to a great extent to the point where I won't do videos anymore, I don't think. I think something else might influence that, though, but I'm not totally sure. It's too soon to say, but that's my thoughts. Next question. Gavin Hancock says, have you learned to play an instrument? If not, what instrument would you like to learn most? Truth be told, I do not know how to play an instrument right now. But when I was younger, my parents encouraged me to play piano, and they rented a piano for me and my sister to both play. And frankly, I hated it. I hated every minute of it, but I put up with it because at the time, I had enough respect for my parents that I kind of just did what they told me to. But it gets to a point where you hate something so much that you kind of stand for yourself and you say, no, I hate this. Is there anything else I can do, or do I have to keep playing piano? And yeah, they weren't willing to rent a second instrument because my sister still liked it, so I ended up just not playing piano anymore, and I kind of gave up on it. However, I would be very interested in the future if I had the time or the motivation to actually pick up another instrument. Definitely not piano. I didn't enjoy that at all, but I wouldn't mind something like guitar or bass, something like that. I'm not exactly sure all different kinds of guitars and bass. I mean, I wouldn't even be able to tell you if I wanted an acoustic guitar or an electric one. I really don't know, but something along those lines I think would be really cool. But yeah, I don't have the time or the motivation right now to get into that sort of thing. But if I ever did, that's probably what I would look at. Benji Wu, who's your favorite AD carry and why? If I had to think about it really hard, I'd probably tell you it's Lucian. If it's not, it's Graves. And reason being, because they're basically the same champion. Believe it or not, they're very similar. I mean, think of it this way. Lucian's Q is wave clear. Graves' Q is wave clear. Their W is a bit of utility. Their E is both mobility. And their ultimate is just a shit ton of damage. Their ultimate is probably the one thing that really separates them. But besides that, their kits are very, very similar. And so I enjoy them both, but if I had to pick a favorite, it'd probably be Lucian, because Lucian has been stronger for a longer period of time. And so that means I would play him a bit more than I would play Graves. So I'd probably say I'm more comfortable on Lucian, but I still really enjoy playing Graves. They're both really fun AD carries. Next question comes from Colin Chen. Do you play any other games other than League of Legends? I play a bit of Pokemon. As I said earlier, I have a channel dedicated to that. I play a bit of Smash, Smash Bros. Brawl, Melee, N64, that series of games. Really casually. I'm not very good at them, but I enjoy playing them with friends. And when I play them with friends, I mean, most of my friends think I'm really casually too, so I end up being one of the better ones, but still, I'm not very good at the game. Like, if you watch, like, competitive Smash players, I can't really think of any names besides, like, Mewtwo King, because he was the first guy that I found when I looked up competitive Smash just to see how good these players were. It's pretty crazy how good these guys are. It's insane. So, I don't know. Besides that, though, I mean, I've never really taken any game seriously. I mean, a bit of Call of Duty in the past, where I've taken that one really seriously. But, I mean, when I play Call of Duty now, I'm literally playing zombies with friends. That's about it. I never play the multiplayer unless I'm, like, still on the PC and I'm really bored and I'm just playing, like, Call of Duty 4 on the PC. And even then, I'm not taking it seriously. So, that's basically it. Like, that's my gaming history right there. Pokemon, as a kid, kind of gravitated into Call of Duty when I was in my younger teen years. And now, as I'm getting into my older teen years, I'm playing League. That's essentially it. I mean, I played a bit of Zelda as well, but yeah, that's it. Like, Zelda I didn't even take seriously because it's a single-player game, so yeah, that's it, essentially. Liam Collin? Or Conlon? Yeah, I'm not sure how to pronounce that one either. A lot of A lot of funky last names you guys have. Have any tips on finding people to play League with? I actually have a few good tips. First one is if you're playing solo queue and you're playing with someone and you just happen to have decent synergy, or you're jungling and he's top lane and you guys just seem to kind of sync up pretty well, just ask him after the game if you guys do end up doing well or if he's a good player. You know, hey, you want to duo or something? And that's a decent way to pick up some new friends on League. Another way I would suggest is hop into my chat room if you are playing on North American servers, because not only will that be an opportunity for you to play with me if you drop into that chat room, if I am looking to play with subs, which I often do actually, believe it or not, but another thing that's really beneficial if that room is in there, I can tell you from personal experience just from inviting players, is there's a wide variety of elos in there, like different level players. So if you're looking for someone who's not even ranked yet, you'll probably find a few guys in there. Look for someone who's bronze, silver, gold. Once you get about to gold, it starts to slow down. You'll find very few plat players and basically no diamond players, but if you're looking to play with players who are a similar level to you and you're like gold or lower, you'll probably find someone in there who's a similar level, and then you can play in normals, invite them, and see how that goes. So that's my suggestion. Rachel Douglas asks, what got you into League of Legends? A friend, reading about it, watching videos, etc. For me, in my case, I want to say, I think it was like grade 10 going to grade 11, so summer of, oh man, I don't know. Think about the years, just makes it all complicated, but it was definitely a while back. My friends were trying to get me into it, and this is back when I think Draven came out, maybe it was Jace, I'm not totally sure, it's one of the two. And yeah, they got me to play the game, I played the tutorial, I hated it. We played in normals, I played Nunu because it was free week, and I hated him because, let's be honest, Nunu's one of those champions you have to have good game knowledge to actually enjoy, because his kit is just really boring. But his kit allows him to have a lot of control over the map if you know how to use it, which frankly I didn't. All I knew how to do was walk to lane, use my ultimate, die, complain. So I didn't have a good time with that, and after about 2 games of that, I just said, yeah, no, this game sucks, I'm not playing this. And my friends didn't really understand why I was so frustrated with it, and frankly, it's because I'm known amongst my friends as being this guy who's pretty good at video games, and so whenever I pick up a new game and I don't know how it works, I get very frustrated. I like being that guy, you know, is good at games, so that's why I play a few games, so that I can stay good at all these games, if that makes sense. But eventually, after about a month of not playing that game, they're like, Adam, you gotta give it another try. You just gotta. It's such a good game. And I did, and this time around, I played Viger on free week, and I had a great time. I actually really enjoyed it, compared to playing Nunu. And then the next week of playing League, there was Ziggs for free week, and I liked Ziggs a lot because, I don't know, he looked cool. And pretty quickly I've noticed that there's a monkey sort of champion, you know, Wukong, and so I saved up for him immediately before buying anything else with IP, and I got Wukong, and I played him for months on end, nothing else, and I started adapting to the Wukong thing and all that, and that's pretty much how I got into League, was that, and I just started playing, and eventually, I think that continued all the way from that summer all the way until March of the next year, and that's when I started my YouTube channel of that game. Of League, of course. Next question here comes from Maurice Shorter. If you could model League of Legends champion, describe that. Alright, well, obviously it'd be a monkey of some sort. I'd probably give him glasses just to look super swag. And his kit would probably be, I wouldn't say similar to Wukong's, because don't get me wrong, I love Wukong's kit and all, but I prefer champions who have a bit more assassin-like characteristics and a bit more mobility. Like, Wukong's pretty mobile when it comes to going in with his Nimbus Strike, but he has no real getting out except for juking with his clone. Whereas champions like Zed, or Kha'Zix, or Rengar, I mean, Zed, if he goes in, he has his ultimate, and he can jump back to his original ult shadow. Kha'Zix has jump resets, and Rengar, if you're really good with using his passive with the jumps from the brush and going out of stealth, I find that really fun. Whereas Wukong is just kind of lackluster in the whole mobility compartment, so I would really like a monkey sort of champion that's a bit more mobile and has the ability to assassinate. I have no idea how that would work or what kind of abilities it would have, but if it had all those, I would love that champion to death, and I'd probably play him for weeks on end, nothing else. Next question from Bradley Talgoy asks, where do you see your channel going in the coming year? And then 3 years. In the coming year, I would like to see my sub count, I wouldn't say double per se, but if you put it this way, maybe actually, because at the beginning of this year, well, not this year, at the beginning of the year last year, so 2014 January, I was at 40k subs, believe it or not, and now here I am sitting at 150k. So it's totally possible if I got 110 this year, I could probably get to another 150k subs this coming year. So next year, 2016 January, I could be at 300k subs. It's possible, and that's what I would like to see. But frankly, I love the way this channel is going, and I don't have any expectations, really. I mean, growing the channel would be nice, but frankly, whatever happens, I'm pretty much content, because like I said in my last video, I've got a channel that's bigger than I ever dreamed of, and for here, I really don't care what happens as long as I continue to run this channel. As far as my Pokemon channel goes, I would really like to see my Pokemon channel grow to a really big state, so I have 2 channels I can run simultaneously that are both decently big. And I would also like to stream more. However, with the current setup I have, there's always issues that arise. I mean, at one point it was the internet, another point it was the face cam, other shit comes on, and I don't know, just streaming just doesn't seem to work with the setup I'm in. I need to move out, and I plan to move out fairly soon. I've been wanting to for a while. However, I don't have the money to actually move out on my own because of where I live. It's pretty expensive here, so once I have like one of my friends who is able to move in with me, then we'll probably do that. We'll probably just roommate together, but until then, I'm stuck here, so. But yeah, that's what I see in the next year or so. The next 3 years is a long shot. I would have to say it completely is dependent upon the state of the games I play, which are Pokemon and League of Legends. I mean, if Pokemon continues doing what it's doing right now, where it just releases these Nintendo 3DS games over and over again, I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but I would much rather see them release like a Pokemon MMO or something like that on the PC. If they did that, my Pokemon channel would probably explode because I would know how to actually build a channel out of that. That would be awesome. But as far as League goes, I mean, it's totally dependent upon League actually staying relevant. If League's relevant, then I'll probably keep playing it and I'll probably keep uploading it. But if it completely falls out of favor and people stop liking League, or League just kind of, I guess, dies out, I'd probably consider another game that's similar to League that people would be able to gravitate towards from this channel, because I couldn't just change up the game entirely. But yeah, it's really dependent upon how the games go. My mindset is pretty content with how things are right now, and if things change, they would have to change in a way that, you know, helps those games, if that makes sense. Next question here. I'm sorry, I have no idea how to pronounce that name. Nathui Nguyen, I guess. What is your favorite lane? Is it top? My favorite lane, if I had to pick an actual lane, would definitely be mid lane, just because it allows you to, you know, roam around the map and make plays a lot more than any other lane, because it's in the middle. But also it's an assassin lane and not a duo lanes sort of thing. Because, I don't know, top lane's really boring because it's just playing tanks. Bot lane, you have to rely on someone else, which, when you're with friends, it's kind of fun, but when you're in solo queue, it's just not my thing. So mid lane, it's a 1v1, and I like that. And it's an assassin sort of lane or a mage lane, so there's a bit of kill potential, which makes things interesting. But when it comes to favorite role, I would definitely say jungle, without a doubt, because although jungle's kind of taken a beating this last season, well, you know, in the preseason, and it's just not as easy anymore, I sort of like that, and I sort of hate it at the same time, because when the jungle's harder like this, it makes it so that early game's a whole lot more slow, because the jungle camps hurt so much more. But it kind of makes it more challenging, so the good junglers can actually make a difference more, if that makes sense. Because, yeah, I don't know, like in Season 4, if you're a good jungler, you know, that was good and all, but if you're a bad jungler, you can probably just play like Lee Sin and just make some early game plays and be fine. Whereas nowadays, I mean, with Lee Sin, if you wanted to make plays early game, you're going to sacrifice a lot, because if you want to farm, you can be low health, or you got to choose between the two. You can't do both, is what I'm pretty much trying to say. So, I don't know, it's kind of, I'm kind of rambling, but I think you guys kind of get the gist of it, that I sort of like the changes, because it encourages, or it benefits good junglers, but it's still kind of annoying. So that's my thoughts. Next question from Jonas Crovelvel, I guess. Why did you start with YouTube? Money, fun, etc.? Honestly, when I first started YouTube, money wasn't even a slight concern, because at the time, partnerships were just getting started, and people were just starting to make money on it, and I never imagined myself actually making money on this at all. I thought I would just, you know, get to a decent sized channel and have fun with it and have it be a hobby. But eventually, you know, money became a part of it, and the only reason I actually am completely comfortable with making money with this, because I don't really consider it an actual job, is because when I'm making money with this, I can spend more time with it, because if I wasn't, I would have to go to school or get an actual job, whereas now I have more time to actually work on this channel, which I think is a pretty good trade-off for everyone involved. But the reason I actually started the channel was pretty much just because I saw it as something I could do and enjoy. I mean, it's kind of a different thing from being fun. It's just something you enjoy. It's like a hobby, if that makes sense. I wouldn't consider it as much fun. It's just satisfying, enjoying, if that makes sense. I don't really know how to explain it besides that. James Lee, what would you play, or would you play in the LCS if you could? Actually, I get this answer this question a lot, and frankly, my answer hasn't changed. I would probably never join an LCS team. Reason being is quite straightforward. I don't have the right mindset to play in LCS, because the way I play, if I'm winning, I can make really good calls and good plays and do great stuff. But if I fall behind, I wouldn't say I tilt, because tilting is a bit of an exaggeration of it, but my decisions get very, very swayed because of the way the game's playing, which is a good aspect. Now, I guess you could say if I was playing a team, I just wouldn't have to shot call and that'd be fine. But frankly, that isn't enough because, yeah, the shot caller is supposed to sway everyone else's, opinions on the game and their plans and stuff. But no one could ever change how I feel about a game. That's the thing. And that's why I would be very hesitant about playing on an LCS team, because if we're losing and our shot caller's like, oh, hey, let's do this, I'd probably follow it up, but I would never really have confidence in what they suggest. I would have confidence in what I suggest, if that makes sense. Again, it makes me sound like really selfish and really quite ignorant and quite stupid, but frankly, that's just how I am, I guess. And that would never be a healthy environment for a ranked team, or not for a ranked team, for an LCS team. However, with that said, if I was to get good enough to be on an LCS team and I got offered a spot, I would tell them straight up, no thanks, but I'm willing to sub for you guys if you do need me. Because that would be a crazy opportunity to play competitive like that, just once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times, but not take it so serious to the point where you're actually on the team. I think it'd be a really cool opportunity, and also being a part of a company, like being CLG CaptainMonk, the sub jungler for CLG, that'd be pretty cool. So, that's just an idea anyways. Next question. I have no idea how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. What's your favorite LCS team or player, or each role, mid, jungle, etc.? I think I'll just answer who's my favorite team and player. Probably CLG, just because I enjoy the way they play and watching them. And frankly, I like most of the teams, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably just pick CLG. But I really can't tell you who my favorite team is, like, by a long shot, 'cause it's pretty close. I like them all quite a bit, to be honest with you. And when it comes to player, it'd probably be Double Lift, simply because, although a lot of people give him hate because of how quote-unquote cocky he is, the way I see it is he's just a straight-up dude who just tells the truth how way he sees it, which is something I actually really respect, because a lot of people will just say, the nice thing to say, just so people don't give him hate over the internet. But frankly, Double Lift is man enough to really say what he thinks, even if it's gonna get him hate, which I really respect. I find that really inspiring. That he'll even if it's kind of cocky, where he says, "Oh yeah, I'm the best. Everyone else is trash." And I know it's a bit of an inside joke, but at the time when he first made that joke, he actually meant that. And to say that on the internet and deal with all that hate and keep playing, man, like that's inspiring. That's dedication. You guys get what I'm getting at. So that's probably why I think he's my favorite player. And also just the way he plays and stuff. I really enjoy his playstyle and all that. Next question. From Nuno Diaz asks, can you describe your playstyle and how do you adapt sweets to another champion, for example, Kalista? Well, my favorite playstyle would probably be a bruiser, sort of assassin kind of champion that can kind of just go in and kill someone and get out. Kha'Zix, Rengar, Zed. Wukong could sort of do that, but he's more of a team fight champion, so although I really enjoy him, he's not my exact style. It's just he's a monkey, and that kind of sways him into my favor. But as far as how do I adapt so easily, frankly, with most of these champions, I just kind of fall into a pattern. Like, let's say with Kalista, although her passive is very out of the ordinary, and I had to adapt to that, and that took me a little bit of time, the rest of her kit, besides her ultimate, which is also a little bit weird, is pretty similar to other champions. I mean, her Q is just a simple skill shot, big whoop. Her E is just something you proc when you hit them with your auto attacks. I mean, most of her kit is pretty basic, and it just ends up kind of being rinse and repeat with a lot of these champions. I mean, Kalista's Q is not much different from Ezreal Q, for example, right? I don't know, I'm not going to go into depth of the other skills, but yeah, once you learn most of the champions in the game, the rest of them just kind of fall into patterns, so it ends up being a lot easier to learn them. So once you've been playing the game and you've got all the champions and you know how to play them all, learning new champions ends up being a whole lot easier. Gene Nguyen asks, what was your rank after placement matches, and how long did it take you to get to your current rank? Okay, so Season 2, I didn't play ranked at all, except for one game of ranked 3s, I think, on Twisted Tree Line, the old one. And this is back in Season 2. And I played Pantheon, and I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I maxed E, and this is when I was really bad, right? Season 3, I played, and I got placed Bronze 4. I ended up climbing up to Gold 2, I think, that season. Then the next season after that, Season 4, I played, and I got placed Gold 3. And within about 3 to 4 weeks, I got all the way up to Diamond 5. And once I got the Diamond, I kind of just stopped playing Ranked, because, frankly, I got bored, and I didn't want to take the game that competitively anymore once I got the Diamond. And I have no idea what the fuck I was doing there. I don't know if you guys were watching there, but I ended up running to their jungle and just turned around and dying. It was really terrible. But, yeah, I mean, I played a decent amount in Season 4 to get the Diamond, but once I got there, I kind of just stopped. Not because I gave up, it was more just got bored of trying, if that makes sense. But after, I think, about 6 months of just chilling in Diamond 5, I ended up getting demoted, and from there I played and climbed all the way up to like Diamond 2, I think, and then dropped to Diamond 3, and pretty much been there ever since. So that's my story of rank. I think the key with playing ranked is to never really blame others unless it's a mistake that like your duo makes, because randoms will never listen to you, frankly. Like, that's something you have to get through your head. Like, if you're doing with someone, they make a mistake, you know, don't go too ham on them, but kind of, you know, point out to them if they don't know what it is. If they know what it is, leave them alone. But if they don't know what it is, kind of explain to them what you think they should have done, because they're your duo, right? They respect you. They're doing it with you for a reason, and they'll actually listen to you. But every random you're playing with, don't even bother. I mean, unless you know they're reasonable, don't even bother with randoms, because they'll just think you're insulting them or something, or something. Like, people are negative in solo queue. What you really need to focus on is your own mistakes, because the way I see it, if you lose a game and you made a single mistake in that game, you should just blame yourself. Simple as that. Like, if you made a single mistake in the game and it lost you the game, or if it was just something that went wrong and you lost the game because of other people, but you still made the mistake, just go ahead and blame yourself, because blaming others is not going to get you anywhere, and blaming yourself is going to let you learn. And that's one of the mentalities I've had that's helped me a lot, is just to learn from my own mistakes and not worry about other mistakes, because it's not going to get you anywhere. Let's see, Emily Lyman asks, how did you meet Ankle and Connor and all those others you record with? So with Ankle, Ankle's pretty much the one who snowballed me learning who everyone else was, if that makes sense. I mean, I watched Ankle Spanking for, I would say, a few months before ever starting my YouTube channel, probably 3 or 4 months. And when I started it up, it was a bit complicated, but the gist of it is he found it somehow, some miraculous way. Like, I think I had 2 videos, maybe 3 at the time, and he just randomly found it, and he said it on his Facebook page with my video linked. I think this guy's potential or something along those lines. So that channel ended up getting like taken down by YouTube. Some complicated shit that I don't even fully understand today, so I won't even bother trying to get into it, because what I do know doesn't make sense. But then I started my other channel, and me and Ankle stayed in contact, and he kind of, you know, taught me who Joe was, you know, introduced me to Sebastian, introduced me to Connor. A few months later, I met Red Mercy because of Ankle. Black Anola, I met him recently again because of Ankle. I mean, Ankle is pretty much the guy who seems to know everybody and is introducing me to all these people, because I'm not very good at actually meeting new people. It's one of the things I'm very bad at, is introducing myself to new people and meeting them. And once I meet somebody and we're talking casually, I'm usually pretty good at, you know, befriending them, but getting to that point, I'm not very good at. And that's where Ankle kind of came in to help me meet all these guys who are really cool. And so, yeah, that's pretty much the story behind how I met them. Next question, Marco Gallum. What champs from every role do you like playing, and how do they suit your playstyle? For top lane, I really enjoy playing Gnar right now because he's really good. And that's one thing that's going to be a trend with pretty much all these champions that I enjoy playing, is they got to be good. Because with how competitive I take this game, or how serious I take this game, I mean, I'll play champions if they're terrible because of a recording, but otherwise I will probably not play them casually just because I don't enjoy struggling with champions. I enjoy playing champions that are strong but still fun. So Gnar, he's really good, and he's fun, so I'll play him top lane. Jungle, I enjoy playing Rengar because he's still pretty good and I enjoy him and he's fun. You know, Wukong, Kha'Zix, Jarvan. I barely play Lee Sin anymore because he's been nerfed so many times that he's just not that fun anymore unless you're like really good at him. Which, I'm decent at Lee Sin, but I'm not that great at him, so I don't bother playing him that much. And mid lane, I love playing Zed. I've been going on a Zed spree recently where I've just been playing him constantly, and I'm loving it. He's so fun. Fizz, I love playing Fizz. I used to like Yasuo, but Yasuo's kind of been nerfed a little bit. He's been buffed again recently, but he's still just kind of eh. So, that's my thoughts on mid lane. AD carry, I love playing Lucian, Graves. You know, mobile, high damage AD carries, make a lot of burst, love them. And supports, I kind of like this, you know, these all-in sort of supports like Leona and Alistar. And Thresh is okay, but I'm not that great at him, and he requires a lot of mechanics, which, frankly, I don't want to play him that much. I have to be, you know, mastering him, so easier supports are more fun for me, I guess. Next question from Seth Wade Scott. What is your favorite skin in League of Legends? I really don't know, because I don't really think of skins that much. I think about the champion they're connected to. So, I mean, if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick one of my favorite champions. Probably, you know, Kha'Zix or Rengar or Wukong, one of their skins. So, you know, the Rengar Night Hunter, what I think that's what it's called, it's pretty cool. The Kha'Zix Mecha skin is pretty cool. The JJ and Wukong is also pretty awesome. So, those are my thoughts. Atrix Rixu, what is your favorite quote of all time? One from anybody, one from a champion, League of Legends. Frankly, I don't really play League with my volume on. Normally, I have really low volume when I'm commentating, so I don't get distracted or listen to music or talk to my friends on Skype. It's really never a time where I'm just sitting there with just the League audio. So I really don't know what the quotes are from the champions, to be honest with you, as embarrassing as that might be for a lot of you who probably listen to that all the time. But I do have a few quotes from like TV shows and stuff that I actually really liked, that I found really inspiring. One of which is from the Batman Begins movie, you know, the Batman trilogy by Christopher Nolan. You know, that's the director, of course. With Christian Bale as the actor. I actually really like that whole quote from Batman Begins of, it's not who you are underneath, it's what you do that defines you. I just find that really inspiring because I know a lot of really good people who, I know what they, what they desire and what it is and what they want out of life, but frankly, it doesn't really matter because they haven't done anything with those ideas and desires. And people don't really care that much about who you are. It's really about what you do, because that's people will think of you is what you do. It's not really who you are underneath. If that makes sense. It's kind of complicated, but it's kind of deep, and I find that really, really cool. To be blunt about it. Another quote I really enjoy is a bit of a different sort of style, but I still find them really cool. Is those quotes from Breaking Bad, of say my name. And he's like, you're Heisenberg. He's like, you're goddamn right. I don't know. I find that so awesome and so epic. And also the other one where he's like, who do you think you're talking to right now? Who is it you think you see? No, you clearly don't know who you're talking to, so let me clue you in. I am not in danger. I am the danger. A guy opens his door and gets shot. You think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks. I absolutely love that. That is like the coolest thing ever. Because it's so true. But yet, you don't realize it until that point. You think the main character, of course, is still who he was. And everything just gets turned right on its head right there with that scene. Sorry if that's a bit of a spoiler, but frankly, if you haven't watched Breaking Bad yet, that won't spoil it for you at all, because I didn't tell you enough about the story for that to really make sense. Anyways, another quote I really enjoy is actually kind of, a bit more on the nerdy side, but it's still pretty awesome, is from the original Pokemon movie. The entire time, I don't know if you guys have watched that movie, but basically Mewtwo is battling with himself because human beings are human beings and Pokemon are usually born, and he's just kind of in between because he can kind of communicate with human beings with words because he was cloned and all that crap, but he doesn't have the ability to like feel right with himself because he was cloned and he wasn't born. But then he later figures out at the end, and he says this quote that something along the lines of how you're born doesn't really matter, it's what you do with yourself that defines who you are. Yeah, so actually I think it was the origins of one's birth do not define who one is. One's actions truly define who they are, or something along those lines. It's really cool. So it's basically the same sort of concept as the Batman Begins thing, which is an entire concept that I find really, really interesting. So those are all the quotes that I could think of. So good question. I actually really enjoyed answering that one. Next question here from Evan Vincent Wiley. If you could only play one champion for the rest of your career, what champion would you choose? Right now, if I had to answer that, I'd probably tell you Zed, because I'm having a lot of fun playing him right now. I don't know why. I've been playing him for years, but recently I've been having a great time with him. For a while there, I probably would have, like a few months ago, if you asked me that question, I probably would have said Kha'Zix. Maybe a few weeks ago, maybe I would have said Rengar. I don't know. I mean, people are probably wondering why I'm not saying Wukong, but the truth is I've been playing him constantly ever since I started this game, whereas Rengar and Kha'Zix and Zed, I haven't been playing constantly until more recently, so that's probably why my answer is a little bit swayed, but that's just my thoughts anyways. Next question from Michael Park. What made you start YouTubing LoL games? This question was sort of touched on, but really what it came down to was just that I thought it was something I could do and enjoy. And I was a little bit inspired by Blame Truth and also Ankle Spanking for different channels, of course. Blame Truth for Call of Duty stuff and Pokemon stuff, and Ankle Spanking for League stuff. And that's just kind of, what it was. I just wanted to have fun because I thought it was something I could do and really enjoy. And, well, that's why I'm here now. Next question, Heinz San. What do you think will happen in Season 5? What do you like about the preseason? Well, I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier as well with the jungle changes, because that's a big change. I kind of like that it encourages... Not really encourages, but it kind of benefits good players a whole lot more, because jungling's a whole lot more difficult now. So I like that change. I like the dragon changes. I think that's actually really, really interesting that they changed it so that you get 5 stacks of dragon and they all give you extra stats. I think it's a really nice twist compared to everything just being, oh hey, gold, 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 oh more gold, thank you, gold, gold, right? So I like that change. One change I do not care for at all is the shields under towers. I think that change, although it makes sense on certain towers, I think the whole fact that that shield's there, regardless of whether the first tower is up or not, is completely fucking retarded. Because there have been so many instances where I have ignited a mid laner, and they have simply flashed under the next turret and survived when we're literally in early laning phase. It's really silly. It's like, really? Why is there a shield there? I think if they want to keep that in the game, they should at least make it so that it's only active, that shield sort of effect is only active once the first tower is gone. Otherwise, that is just stupid. I don't see the point in having that there at all. I think it's really unfair. The next thing is Gustavo Henrique R. Santana asks, what do you think about feeding, and where are you from? I'm from Canada, and what I think about feeding is kind of an interesting question because it's kind of hard to answer what I think about it, but what I will say is I think intentionally feeding is stupid. You shouldn't intentionally feed. It's very unfair to your teammates and bad-mannered and all that stuff. But if you're struggling in a lane, what I can tell you is a few things that can help you get back into the game to make feeding less of an issue is three things you should remember. If you're behind and they've taken your turrets or something like that, or they're going to your jungle, ward your jungle, because when players get ahead, they end up getting overconfident and they'll go into your jungle, taking your camps, and that's a perfect opportunity just to kill someone right there. Just catch them, have three of you show up when this guy's taking your camp, and boom, you've got yourself a comeback in the ways. Second thing you want to do is farm. Farming is always important. It's always a really consistent source of gold, so always remember to keep farming. And lastly, the last thing you want to do is try to avoid dying. It's as simple as that. If you do those three things, and you literally all do those things, like your entire team, you get your entire team on board, it's almost impossible to lose, frankly. Like, it's that simple. So, next question here from Koda Tejuani. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. Why don't you make a COD channel, or a channel for COD? I had a COD channel, and I enjoyed it. However, Call of Duty is a very flawed game in the sense that it's very connection-based and luck-based, and frankly, it's not enjoyable for me to play, because when you take the game seriously, and the game's outcome gets swayed so much by pure luck and internet connection and shit like that, it's not fun. And so, if you're going to play that game, you got to play it casually and just not give a single shit about anything. And when you're looking to get good footage, it's very, very, very frustrating. Believe me, I know. So, that is why, because Call of Duty is not fun for me anymore, and make a channel would be even worse, because I have to take it seriously. Next question, what is your favorite food? Definitely sushi, without a doubt. I love Japanese food, and sushi in particular is definitely my favorite. I absolutely love sushi. Next question, what kind of teammate do you want from Trung to Soya? I like a teammate who isn't necessarily good, but one who's got a good attitude. And really, frankly, good attitude is really all I ask for. I don't care if they're good, I don't care if they're terrible, I don't care if they're playing meta, I don't care if they're playing non-meta things. I just care that they have a good attitude. And what I think having a good attitude really comes down to is, I think a person with a good attitude is someone who actually tries to win the game. And so when I say that, I kind of mean playing something somewhat meta. So like playing Tryndamere AD carry, that's what I would kind of frown on. But if someone wants to play Sivir, you know, go for it. Sivir's out of meta, but she's still, you know, an AD carry, so I can kind of be okay with that, right? Compared to playing like Lucian or Corki, you know, really good AD carries. Another good attitude thing is just constantly having a good attitude about the game. I mean, I don't know, I kind of want to get to depth, but really just having a good attitude is really all I care about. I mean, if you're bad at the game and you're feeding or something like that, being able to keep your head held high and ask for advice, that's something I really respect, for example. Whereas some players I know will die at level 2 and be like, GG, game's over. And it's like, really? Come on. That's a terrible attitude to have, so. Next question from Standamir Stanchev. When did you start playing League? I kind of answered this a bit earlier, but I'll answer it again just to make sure it's clear. I started playing in about mid-season 2, so summer of season 2. But I didn't start taking it actually like trying to play and enjoying myself until about, I would say, fall of season 2. And it looks like that's all the questions I can answer here in this gameplay. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Q&A. If you did, make sure to leave a like, rating, and subscribe for more videos. And maybe I'll do another one of these around 200, maybe 250k, and we'll see how that goes. I had a few more questions to answer, but I didn't get through them, so I apologize. But that's it here, guys. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.
This is a Noodles production.